Yeah. Greetings, nerds around the world. Welcome to another episode of the Nerds United One podcast. Usually, it's me, Chris, CNO. Now taking over the hosting duties for some time now. And we're going to be covering a very fascinating topic here. I had some initial reluctance to. Hope you're okay, Colton. But we're going to tackle it because I really wanted to do this. Despite some initial hesitance, here we are. So, and we have the panel of regulars that with Colton, Mike, Jack. How's it going, fellas?
Good.
All right, and this topic we'll be tackling is top 5 good scenes in bad movies. Yes. We all seen our fair share of bad films. Ooh, yes, bad scenes. We know the hallmarks of what makes a bad movie. So many things, a bad script. But for everything, even though we have, as a whole, even though we as a whole consider these movies bad, there are some, redeeming qualities. Only some. And then they have good moments, but they're few and far between. Since they're, of course, bad movies. So we're going to talk about them and talk about them in this particular episode. Starting off with number 5, I'm going from number 5 to number 1. My number 5 for me is the war montage from X-Men Origins Wolverine. This is a pretty bad movie. There's a lot of things that just like there's a lot of eyebrow. There's a lot of baffling things that happen to this movie to make you go, "Who the fuck? What genius approved this? And how does this make it? How does this make it to the screen and stuff like that?" But overall, it's my favorite moment for me is like how it's the moment where we see the trajectory of the life and of both James Hout, aka Logan, aka Wolverine, and Victor Creed, aka Sabretooth. They fought in many different wars throughout history. You really get to see the scope. It tells you so much, though. Then it tells it better than the rest of the movie that it followed. It was just it just managed to pull you in. This is like in terms of span these guys' lives through different moments of history. It's a brief moment, but it's a small little gem in a movie that is very, very underwhelming. That's my opinion. All right, Mike, what's number 5 on your list?
Okay, my number 5 was okay. I'll go with I've got actually 2 scenes from this movie, but the first one is from X-Men Apocalypse, and it was the Quicksilver scene where he saves all the students or most of the students from the exploding mansion.
Right.
After seeing Quicksilver in it shine in a far superior movie of X-Men Days of Future Past, and then we got caught with X-Men Apocalypse, which was not as good, not anywhere near as good. It was pretty darn crappy, actually. But yeah, it was always nice to see Quicksilver, and Evan Peters plays that role to perfection. So, yeah.
Okay, all right. It's a decent choice there, Mike. Decent choice. I felt it's like a little like it felt like it was a little, to kind of slightly rehashes the kitchen scene from X-Men Days of Future Past, but still wonderfully executed. Yeah. Decent.
If you got to rip off a good scene from a previous movie, that's a good one to go with.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, but still decent. It's still a decent pick, though. All right, Colton, what's number 5 on your list?
Well, you would think that making a parody of the Twilight Saga would be very easy to do, but 2010's vampires suck. That being said, it did have actually a very hilarious moment in the movie where, in the section where they're parodying New Moon, badly I might add, there's a section where we see what Edward's been up to since he and Bella broke up, and we see that Edward is an emotional wreck. He's drowning his sorrows in ice cream and everything. He's apparently started dating Lady Gaga. Yeah, it's one of those kinds of things. It's just hilarious to see Edward in such a pathetic and broken state, considering how much of a prick he is in the actual franchise. And what have you. So yeah, any misery befalling Edward is great to me. So that's number 5 on my list.
I echo those sentiments there because I'm not a Twilight fan myself. Who likes Twilight? All right, Jack, what's number 5? What's on number 5 on your list?
My number 5 is from 2014's Godzilla, which we all remember.
I actually think it's a good movie. So
Yes.
I think it's a decent movie, but go ahead.
I was very disappointed with this movie. They finally decided to show the action after an hour of boring stuff with boring humans. And then they cut to the TV. The best part of this movie is when Godzilla fights the giant kaiju and shoots his atomic breath, opens the other monster's mouth, and shoots his atomic breath down its mouth, killing it instantly. That is the best part of this movie.
It's definitely a scene Godzilla fans won't be forgetting anytime soon.
Yeah, but good movie overall, but still could have been better. Yeah, could have been better, but still decent overall. I mean, I got no issue. I feel I'm entertained by it definitely. So, all right, going on to number 4 on my list is The Fight for the Key. Davy Jones chest in Pirates of the Caribbean, there is chest. Well, the first part of Pirates of the Caribbean is pretty much like, it's one of the best examples of the horror movies. Entertaining. It's got great performances, stuff like that. Kind of Dead Man's Chest kind of suffers from pretty false. It's not as good. I mean, it's decent, but not as good as it. Well, actually, it's not that. I'm just kidding. It's bad. But for all its faults, The Fight for the Key, however, just like the amount of energy, and Johnny Depp, he's being the right as usual as Jack Sparrow, they hold it all together. It's just the sword fight, it's just like the stunt work, everything like that. Woo! It's like, why couldn't the rest of the movie be like this? Why did it have to be so bloated, and why did it have to be so unfocused? I mean, why couldn't it be like that? Because it was kind of dull some parts. But this is one few enjoyable moments of it all. But it's like this. I mean, for all its faults in the movie, you can't fault this. I mean, for all its faults and for all the faults Dead Man's Chest has as a movie, you can't fault this for being a great moment. It's just such a fun moment in the otherwise very dreadful film.
You mean very entertaining film? Sorry.
Entertaining but dreadful.
Not just entertaining.
Maybe from your view. Well, Mike, what's number 4 on your list?
Number 4 on my list is from Justice League. I generally enjoy Justice League. I don't think it's a great movie, but I think it's a fun movie for the most part. But most people don't share my agreement with that, and so I'm fine with that. But my favorite scene in that one is probably just after Superman is revived and the Justice League is confronting him. And, the Flash is doing his super fast thing, and then you just see Superman's eyes just follow him. And you just see the expression on the Flash's face, like, that has never happened to me in my life. No one's ever been able to be as fast as I am. And I thought that was a really cool moment.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I like that whole fight thing. But that one moment was my favorite probably the entire movie actually. I still enjoyed the movie for the most part, but that part was my favorite.
All right. Okay. All right. Solid choice there. I'm picking myself. Still, Justice League. Yeah. I'm not a fan of that movie. Okay. Just put it. You all know how I feel. Okay, Colton. What is number 4 on your list?
Number 4 on my list comes from the 2009 Hayden Panettiere film, I Love You, Beth Cooper. So I Love You, Beth Cooper was supposed to be a movie where after graduation, our heroes just have a weird, wacky day to themselves as they, just enjoy time after graduation. But what followed was a very awkward series of misadventures and what have you that I just felt awkward watching, with the exception of one scene. So towards the end of the film, the characters break into their old high school, and seeing how the main character Dennis is kind of down after all the weird crap he's been through, Beth and her friends decide to do a cheer. Since they're cheerleaders, they decide to do a cheer for him in order to help cheer him up. And that was probably the only scene in I Love You, Beth Cooper that really felt like it had any heart in it. It felt like it was a scene that actually knew what it wanted to be, and it was doing what the film wasn't intending to go for. So yeah, that's my scene. The cheer from I Love You, Beth Cooper.
All right. Okay. All right. Decent choice there. Decent choice there. Okay, Jack. What is number 4?
My number 4 is a movie which I was really disappointed with, which I thought would be a lot better after all the drama it went through. I'm talking about The Interview. I was actually pretty bored throughout this whole movie. I didn't think anything was that funny. But there is one funny part in this movie, which I don't think everybody would find funny, but if you're a fan of Eminem, I think it was very funny when they have the interview with Eminem, and Eminem announces that he is gay, and that whole thing had me dying. So that was the only funny part in that disappointing movie. The Interview.
Sorry, folks. I had to step out for a brief moment. I'm back now. Just a quick, brief moment. All right, resuming on with the show, of course. Of course, y'all did not need to be resumed for the first place. Keep it going. Okay, going on to number 3 on my list. Number 3, my ISD Airplane Rescue from Superman Returns. Despite being like a lackluster and very glum movie, Superman Returns had one moment that's really stood out for me. That was that airplane rescue. Even though I see parallels from Superman the movie with this helicopter sequence because it's basically Superman trying to save people. He's trying to save blood. It's basically Superman saving the falling aircraft. Basically trying to save. And it also happens. They all both happen to include Lois Lane on these aircraft. But the scene in the airplane rescue pretty much, when you see it, it's just like you say this for a moment. This is the most Superman moment where in the movie where it's very light moments of Superman-ing. It seems to do just list stuff. It doesn't act like Superman, but this seems to be the moment that captures the spirit of the character. He tries to. He struggles to keep the plane stable and save all these people, all the passengers. It really keeps you on the edge of your seat. And it's just like it's exciting, it's vibrant, and the movie that is not as exciting and vibrant. It's the only moment that shines through. It's just like even though Superman is very reserved, this movie as a whole is just not. It's not very entertaining, but this movie just this moment in this movie particularly stands out. It just was very disappointing. Okay, Mike, let's go on with you. What's number 3 on your list?
Number 3 on my list is from Attack of the Clones, Star Wars Episode 2, and it is you sat through the entire movie. it is what it is. You know, some people defend it, but not as many people that defend Attack of the Clones as they do the other two in the prequel trilogy. But there was one moment where, when sitting in theaters, watching it for the very first time, I remember you see that, Count Dooku has Obi-Wan down, he has Anakin down, and then you hear this tap, and you see the shadow, and you see Yoda walk in. And everyone in my entire theater went, "Oh yeah!" I was like, badass fighters about to go down, and Yoda just proves why he is the Jedi Master he is. Say what you will about the rest of the movie, that moment is the moment that we've been waiting
A long time for.
Yeah, we've been waiting 4 movies for that moment. And
Size
it paid
matters
off.
not.
Yeah, and it paid off very well for me. Yeah,
looking back at that moment, it's not a particularly bad moment for me. I mean, he leaves a whole lot, but still, it's pretty. I had a very lukewarm, average response to it, but
look at the rest of the movie.
yeah, but it's growing on me. It's growing on me.
Yeah,
that was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You said that's the only Star Wars movie you've seen, haven't you?
No, I've seen others.
Oh, okay.
That was the first.
Okay. All right. We will say no further about that. It's just like, oh my lord. Yeah. The horror. That's just all I gotta say. The unbearableness. Okay. All right. Moving on. Colton, what's number 3 on your list?
Number 3 on my list is something that's been mentioned already, and that is the war montage from X-Men Origins Wolverine. X-Men Origins Wolverine is, a textbook case. That scene is a textbook case of a wasted a perfectly good plot. And seeing Wolverine and Victor Sabretooth, watching them running from one war to the next, it makes you really wonder how those wars really changed them. And it would have been very unique, I think, for an X-Men story to just focus on, characters going through a war rather than, the typical mutant stuff and what have you. I mean, Liev Schreiber and Hugh Jackman were definitely the best parts of the film. So seeing them, having to working together rather than being at each other's throats, I would give the clothes off my back to see that movie. It's one of those going down as probably one of X-Men's biggest missed opportunities, along with the Dark Phoenix, which they screwed up twice. But that's another story.
All right, decent. Since I'm working on that one, Colton, that scene was a pretty particular standout for me myself. Okay. All right, Jack, what is number 2 on your list?
You mean number 3?
Excuse me, number 3 on my list. I mean, not your list.
My number 3 is also from X-Men Origins Wolverine. But mine is a different scene. This is near the beginning of the movie. This is the what are they called? Team X or something? When they all assemble to go take on that drug dealer guy.
Weapon X. Wait, no, that's Wolverine's name. Never mind.
And my favorite part of that scene is when Wade Wilson actually gets shit done. And he shows up and they shoot at him. And he slices the bullet in half. And it goes right past him. I love that scene. I was so excited. And then very, very sad when he shows up again. Horribly. Oh, God. The less we talk about it, the better.
Well, they made up. They eventually made up for it.
Yes. With Logan.
It took 7 years, but they made up for it.
Yeah. Logan, it was just a saving grace. Thank you, James Mangold, for that whole thing. Okay, going on to the final 2. All right, I'm going on to the final 2. Of course, myself, I'm going to share my number 2. Number 2 for me is the warehouse fight for Batman v Superman. For all the unbearableness of this movie, Batman v Superman, how joyless it is, how grim it is, how pessimistic it is, how badly written it is, and how pretentious it is. It's not without his few standout moments. For really good moments. And this is one of them, where Batman just comes in, he saves Superman's mom, he just takes names and kicks ass, man. Just like,
Chris, He
Don't
said,
say it, please.
You say Martha. Okay.
Hey, Martha.
Okay, yeah, yeah, we do. Yeah, is it ever going to get old? I mean, it has to age sometime. I don't know. But still, we see how brutal Batman is when it comes to sliding style in this movie. Just the tightness of it, the choreography, just like the editing, everything. This scene is a knockout, man. We didn't even see this for as great as Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy is. Why did we not get a scene like this? I mean, this scene's so awesome. The action sequences are great in Christopher Nolan's movies, but we didn't see Batman become. We see Batman become like a straight up brawler. It's like taking down the to near dwellers. I mean, come on, just like it's like even though it was a shitty movie. That's just an awesome scene. Just like that. You got to hand it to Zack Snyder for that one. Just like, am I mistaken that they insert John Cena's theme music in that? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, still, for all the terrible movie that is the highlight, at least for me. Definitely. All right, Mike, what's number 2 on your list?
Number 2 on my list is going back to X-Men Apocalypse.
Okay.
Again, not a great movie.
Yeah.
But beyond the Quicksilver scene, there was one scene that stood out even more than the Quicksilver scene.
Okay.
And that was when, Magneto, he was turning a new leaf. He was trying to be a good guy. And then some trigger-happy guards decided to kill his daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And then he takes just a little string of metal and slaughters them all. It is a very quick scene, but barely 5 minutes. But it shows if Magneto really wants to, you ain't gonna survive a meeting with him. Don't piss him off. Don't kill his daughter.
And don't forget about the best part when he looks up to the heavens and he shouts out, "Is this what you want from me?"
I preferred the killing part, honestly.
I know, I'm just saying that's a good part of the scene also.
It was all right.
If Magneto is happy, why would you? I would just leave him alone.
Yeah, basically.
He's basically one of the undisputed.
People are stupid. Remember that.
Yeah, he's basically one of the undisputed strengths of those movies.
Yeah.
It's like even Apocalypse, as underwhelming movies that is, he gives it 100. Him and McAvoy, all those guys. Yeah. Okay, Colton, what is number 2 on your list?
Number 2 on my list comes from the 2013 theatrical Lone Ranger movie. This is a movie that couldn't decide if it wanted to be the Western version of Pirates of the Caribbean or if it wanted to be a self-parody of the Lone Ranger story. It was all over the place. But the best part of the movie came in the scene where the Lone Ranger and Tonto go to, I think it's a brothel or something. I can't remember for certain. But while they're there, they see this. While they're in there, the owner of the place, played by Helena Bonham Carter, she spots a customer getting rough with one of her girls. So she pulls up her skirt, reveals she has a wooden leg, which she promptly aims at the roughhousing customer, and then reveals it's a fucking gun, and she shoots at him. That was fucking awesome, and I would have paid money to see the entire movie just being about her. That would have been cool.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's a short scene, but yeah, it was way more engaging and entertaining than anything featuring Tonto and the Lone Ranger. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember if I always had hope that the Lone, even though my expectations for that movie were kind of lowered, I guess. I was hoping for a miracle, but it just looks bloated. Just like But you're right, but yeah.
I barely remember that movie.
It's still like a fine moment, Colton, for that movie. All right, now, Jack, what is number 1 on your list?
2. My number 2 is from Iron Man 2, which is the Black Widow hallway fight scene.
Iron Man 2's not
near
Newsflash, Iron Man 2's not bad.
near the end of the movie where Black Widow in her sexy elf outfit kicks all those guys out, while John Favreau's Happy Hogan has trouble taking on one guy. I love that scene. I mean, Black Widow just kicks all the ass. It just shows how much of a badass she is.
Oh yeah, yeah, they did it. That scene, just I enjoy very much enjoy that scene myself there, my man. Definitely. All right, moving on to the top spot, the number one of our list, and my number one for me is the Goda Racha. I mean, I can't do that, but still, we all know what I'm talking about. what music was I'm trying to hum. It's the Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Maul duel from the Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Yes, very much so. And 16 years, people waited for a Star Wars movie, for Star Wars to come back to screens. The Phantom Menace was unbelievably hyped. People were eagerly waiting, anticipating it, He's just like, yeah, we were jazzed. We were just like, we were very eager. We were just excited to see this movie. Then we got shit about Jar Jar. You see what Jar Jar Binks, the coins. Yeah. And boring political debates that you should see on C-SPAN. It's like, what is this? It was all drag. And it was badly written. But there was one standout. It's like, you got to see the Jedi kicking major ass against Darth Maul. Yeah, he's as cool as Vader, but man, those skills, Ray Park, he has those mad skills, bro. I was like, oh my goodness, this is like the choreography, just like yo, the excitement, it's like for a movie that kind of drags and it really kind of it's not really as exciting in some parts as kind of dry in some instances. It's a movie that's a moment that really gets you on the edge of your seat. Despite the movie, despite the Phantom Menace being a movie that is very much underwhelming as a result. But still, that moment just was kick ass, and John Williams duel to the face, man. Woo. Yeah, it's just like that. That's the extra bonus that just completely draws you into the fight. It's like that was the only redeeming part of this very, very terrible film. The terrible movie. It's a great moment, but it was I don't know. It's just, but yeah, still, that scene was kick ass overall. Okay, Mike, what is number one on your list?
My number one actually has been mentioned already. From Superman Returns, when Superman saves the plane. Yeah, I mean, the movie was flawed, but that one scene alone, this is going to be a little controversial, but I consider that scene strong enough to make this a better Superman movie than Man of Steel. Man of Steel, I think, is a better movie overall, but there was nothing in Man of Steel that made me think, oh yeah, that's Superman.
Yes.
That's Superman doing things that Superman would do. Mm-hmm. He was a mopey, like pouty, angst-ridden throughout all of Man of Steel. And at least in Superman Returns, that one moment where he saves that plane, that was Superman being Superman. That was the Superman being the Superman that we all have been wanting to see. It's the one we read in comics. It's the one we saw in 1978 and in 1980. That was Superman, and I love that scene so very, very much, despite the fact that the movie, it kind of goes downhill big time from there, but
the rest of the movie doesn't live up to that.
But I would watch that scene over and over and over again because it is so damn good.
No. You won't get no argument from me. Okay, Colton, what is number one on your list?
So, on June 3rd, 1969, Star Trek, the original series, went off the air. and it seemed like it was the last we would ever see of the beloved Enterprise crew. And then, 10 years later, Star Trek finally returned in the form of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, or should I say, the slow motion picture.
The motionless picture.
It was Star Trek. They're very fortunate they got Star Trek to the Wrath of Khan to get them back on their feet. But there was one actually very good scene in Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and that is the scene where we first see the Enterprise. Now, I know a lot of people mock that scene for being a 5-minute sequence of us just seeing the Enterprise, but I think what makes that scene good is that it was the first time in 10 years the audiences had seen the Enterprise. So for them to like really dedicate that time to really, showing off the Enterprise, it felt like a good way of paying off the audience's, their patience after all this time. It's the Enterprise on the big screen, and they really wanted us to understand the gravity of just how awesome it was. And I love the music that plays during that scene. It was so great that they even made that music the theme song for Star Trek: The Next Generation. Yeah, number one on my list is the Enterprise revealed in Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
I preferred that scene when they played it in Star Trek 2, and they made it only like half as long.
Oh my! This is the gem. The Star Trek Motion Picture was not that good, but
no,
that was a fine moment. No, wait.
It was way too long for what it was. But if they had managed to edit it down, it would have been fantastic.
It's like they were trying to be more. It's like they were trying to be more 2001: A Space Odyssey and less Star Wars. I guess
they were like, "Ooh, look what we can do with a motion picture budget."
Oh god!
As opposed to, look what we can do with editing.
What are you taking these jabs to this? Come on.
Let's just be glad that they got their shit together with the next film.
Yes, very much so.
Definitely. Okay, Jack, what is number one on your list?
My number one is a movie and a scene that has already been on the list. And that is Batman v Superman, the Batman Warehouse scene.
Oh, yeah.
Finally, after a boring 2.5-hour movie of nothing, Batman kicks ass. And the reason I love this scene is that it's because it reminded me a lot of the Batman Arkham games. Because Batman in this actually was using gadgets in combat against the enemies, which was something we had never seen before. We had seen Batman fight people before. We had seen him throw people, but we never saw him before use his gadgets while in combat, which is the first time we see. So I love that scene, and that is the best part of that awful, awful movie.
Well, yeah. No one's debating you about how. No one's debating with you of his awfulness. I'll tell you that. Okay.
You mean nobody loved the scene where Lex Luthor tries to feed a senator a Jolly Rancher? That's no one's favorite scene. What the hell?
I get what they were going for that scene, but it was just.
How about the beach?
Don't even try and defend it. It was a stupid scene. It was a stupid ass scene.
What about the peach tea?
I was about to say that. You can't go further.
But we're all forgetting the best part of Batman v Superman. Martha.
Okay, enough with the Martha jokes. Okay, I mean, if there was like $1 for every time someone made a Martha joke, there would be enough money on Earth to. Okay, no, not enough money on Earth. There would be. Never mind. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right, guys. That's it for our show. I mean, that concludes our show today. And this is a pretty good topic to cover. I enjoyed it. Also, I'd like to thank my panel for being here. Mike, it was a pleasure. It's always my friend.
Yeah, great to be with you again.
This is a good show. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we can just go. It's great having you here as well. Yeah, and also Jack is Jack.
This is a lot of fun. Before we go, I had 2 news topics I wanted to get your guys' opinions on before we leave. Okay. So we found out that Warner Brothers will not be having a Hall H presentation at Comic-Con.
Oh yeah.
I think this is a big mistake. We know that Marvel is not going to have one. They're saving theirs for D23, which Mike, you were lucky to go to. So this could have been DC's year. We And now that they have a Batman cast, maybe let something give us a new schedule. We know we have Birds of Prey. Joker's coming out in October. Wonder Woman 84.
Mhm.
They have some things they could have brought out, and I think it's a mistake for them. What do you guys think?
I mean, it's just like we can. It's just like it's like. I'm not really sure what to make of it myself. It's just like. I mean, you said Marvel's not going to have a presence at Comic-Con this year, so.
They're gonna have a presence. They won't have. They're not having a party panel.
Yeah, that's a big mistake. It's just like it's like you owe it to to your fan base to at least give us some information, especially it's just like
Well, I mean, the thing is, they can give out information. They just don't have to do it in Hall H. I mean, honestly, I think the shine on Hall H is kind of dimmed last few years. I mean, if you think, Warner Brothers had a huge Justice League panel there, and how much money did Justice League make? I mean, granted, it wasn't a good movie, but I think the studio's trying to see, hey, even if we have a good Hall H panel, it doesn't always translate into big box office money. So why are we spending money on Hall H when we can just release the news on a Wednesday afternoon and get the same kind of hype?
So there's got to be something. I mean, this is still with Comic-Con. There's got to be something. It's something to draw people's attention.
Colton, what do you think?
I don't really have an opinion on the matter, to be honest.
All right, one more thing. So it's finally happening. December 2020, we're getting an Uncharted movie. Finally.
I haven't played
We have known for a while that Tom Holland has been attached to Star. What do you guys feel about that? We're finally getting a movie, and Tom Holland has actually been confirmed as Nathan Drake.
I'd be excited, but I've been burned by way too many video game movies.
I think Tom Holland is a fine actor, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with it because I really like Uncharted.
I love Uncharted. I would rather see a more adult Nathan Drake, but if they're going for a younger Nathan Drake, and
I mean, keep in mind, Tom Holland is like 22, 23.
Oh, yeah.
So he looks a lot younger than he actually is.
No, but I think he can pull it off. I'm just excited we're finally getting Uncharted, and we can actually maybe get a good video game movie.
Hey,
I mean,
That's what we said about Assassin's Creed, and we all know how that movie turned out.
I mean, the last
Pikachu
one was Tomb Raider.
Detective Pikachu.
Pikachu stops.
I missed Detective Pikachu, actually.
Pokemon stops.
Have you seen it, Chris?
Oh,
Then shut up.
In silence.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, Detective Pikachu is making money. It's got good ratings, so that is apparently a very good, and it's based on. I mean, there is a legit common video game called Detective Pikachu, so it's based on it.
Want to play that game?
So,
I don't really count that, but
Go fuck yourself, Colton.
it is 100% a video game movie.
So you're right, jackass. Yes, he's gonna be.
Unless you have something constructive, please be silent.
No.
Okay, if we keep doing this, if we keep meeting each other, we're gonna be here all night. So,
Good night, everybody.
I will do the outro. I mean, hopefully you will join us for next week. I have some topic, and hopefully you'll join us by then. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time.
Bye.
bye.